anything for you to say while we're talking about Genesis 18, because
Yes.
that's where it talks about
Somebody
Sarah
laughing
laughing and
in the face of God.
so if you have a miraculous child, then
Yes.
I don't think you have to worry about his relationship with God.
Really? I don't have to
Well, I mean,
circumcise
if it's
that miraculous son
well, I
for
mean,
any reason at
if
all if
God
I don't want him circumcised?
if God is doing miracles, you should be kind of happy that God is making miracles in your life.
Okay, so
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to you, right?
yes, if God gives me if God gives me a miracle baby, I can happily submit to the PCA standard of infant baptism. Gasp. Yes.
If God does a miracle in your life, I would say ask God. But we're right now in the real world.
Yes.
Like, that's not an issue you have.
It's not an issue I have currently, right? And
Correct.
we're not even in current year yet in storytime mode. In storytime mode,
I'm not sure.
I'm not even born yet in storytime mode. My parents just got born. Yes.
Well, no, because
No.
like we can actually live in present time, and
I'm not done telling my story yet, though. Right? Because you guys are asking me about where I came from, and I have to tell that story. Where I came from,
yeah, but Mary, like you've been going for like at least half an hour.
See, yeah, you guys couldn't even last me. You guys couldn't even listen to me for half an hour, so that's very disappointing.
Actually, I mean, Mary, half an hour.
Jacob, I couldn't stand her and had to kick her when she was on my channel.
Yeah, see, Claire says I'm too much for her. Claire understands. I'm too much for people, even just for 5 minutes. Poor Claire.
You know, I kicked her.
I'm very intimidating for people like Claire. Ha 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 ha. So you better duck me into the void, Jacob.
I do have to say,
yes?
that it is kind of funny that I have 3 females on my stream. So this is the most female stream anyone has ever had.
Yes.
In the history of the universe, as far as I know.
Yes, 3 women, too many. What kind of character is that in Chinese? You know,
three women on a stream, and 2 of them are East Asian women, which is also an interesting thing.
And one of them's a Presbyterian. Oh
no! Which brings me to, if I can find this, where is it? 25:6. Are we on 25 yet? This is Genesis 24.
Yes.
Genesis 25:6.
Hold on. Genesis. So where are we in Bible study? Oh, are you still trying to? Are you still? Whoop, I'm sorry.
Yes. Let's go to Genesis 25:5.
Okay. Yes, and Abram gave all that he had unto Isaac. Okay.
And keep on going.
But unto the sons, the concubines, which Abraham had, oh no, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country.
The east country, east of
wherever Abraham was living.
Even more than that. I mean, it could have said it's to the countries that Abraham came from, because he came from Babylon. But east.
But Jacob, the earth is round. So if I keep going east, I'm just going to circle right back around here, aren't I?
That's possible, but I don't think they had oceanic travel at the time.
They didn't. They didn't have boats. They didn't have boats big enough to ship people east.
I doubt that very much.
They did not. No chariots of the gods to spirit people away across oceans.
And so, Mary, for you and Claire, I think like Abraham sent these gifts to you guys.
Me and Claire are actually very distant cousins, huh? like biologically. I'm not talking about spiritually or symbolically or metaphorically or any of that.
Christian.
I'm not talking about religion, Claire. I'm talking about ethnicity. You're right. She didn't worship a Jew either. So as an East Asian Chinese person, allow me to do a little bit of East Asian unethical racism. What does a Middle Eastern woman have to do with me, a China woman, all under heaven, right? Because I think I'm the original people.
I'm not competing with you here. I'm just asking why you're Christian.
Well, I haven't finished telling that story. I haven't finished telling my story. I told you my parents.
You don't have to do anything because your parents do it. What if your parents were Aztecs?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you, right?
A Jew if your parents worship a Jew?
I don't
have the excuse.
Have you heard my
white people? They were forced to, worship a Jew by their horrible absolute monarch. I don't think Chinese emperors did that, did they?
Well, I don't know. How did my parents become? I haven't even got right. My parents were just born. They're barely right there. So let me think about what my mom's family tree looks like.
I mean,
what were my parents? What were my grandparents' religions? Do you know, Claire? Were they forcibly converted to any particular religion?
Well, you tell us.
Right, so may I go back to 1950 and 1951 when my parents were born, and I tell you about the religious
Mary. Yeah, there's no reason to go back to 1950.
No reason at all.
No, you weren't even born then.
So can I talk to the year can I jump to the year I was actually born?
Okay, go ahead and jump to the year you were actually born.
Okay, so the year I am actually born, I am born after 24 hours of very, very painful labor.
Okay, Mary,
yes?
Mary, can I give you a lesson in relevance? Like, you
yes?
just told us a lot of things which have absolutely nothing to do with what you're trying to tell us about. So could
really?
you
None of that.
The topic?
What's the topic?
The topic
why I'm a Christian?
How you ended up in TLC, actually, but yeah,
well, yes.
Why you're a Christian works too. But like,
I didn't.
You've told us you've told us a lot about your cousin, the violinist, and
yes.
I had a very interesting time looking into Stradivarius violins while you were talking. But
well, right now we're in 1979.
It would be nice if like what you talked about was relevant to the conversation.
Well, I'm getting there, right? Because now we're still
you aren't, because
what year did I join TLC? What year did I? Does anybody remember?
Mary. Okay. I will let you back on, right? So this is an important thing for, frankly, all of you. Sandy's much less annoying than Mary and Claire. She's actually pleasant to talk to, but all three of you do exactly the same thing, which is you start talking about things that have no relevance. And as I have told Sandy, I do believe this is female coded. Like this is a very female thing to do, which is while you are talking about something, right? We're getting to the point, like on the way, you have to point out every single tree, right? And like, you don't have to, you really don't have to point to every tree on the road to where you're going. Okay? So let's try this again. In one sentence, Mary, one sentence. Take some time. Think about it in one sentence. Why are you a Christian?
Why am I a Christian? I am a Christian because when I was 12 years old, God was very funny and showed me the sign of the cross in my own room several times over, and the Holy Spirit convicted me of my sins, and I cried like a baby because I realized that I'm a sinner too. I cannot.
Okay, that is a beautiful testimony that has
Uh-huh.
nothing to do with your cousin, the professional violin player.
Why does it have nothing to do with my cousin?
Have
the
you ever been
professional
diagnosed
violin
with a
player?
mental illness? Have you
Um,
ever been diagnosed with a mental
Claire,
illness?
that's not
yes,
nice.
actually, I have been very professionally diagnosed.
But Mary, that's not relevant, and Claire needs to learn how to be respectful and nice in polite company. That's not how you act in polite company, Claire. Can you be polite, Claire?
I mean, I am happy to share my very, very professional diagnosis.
Well,
but, you know,
I do as well. I mean, I have been very, very open about my mental health struggles because I think
right.
I don't think it's any worse having had mental health problems than having had diabetes or having had any physical health problems. But for some reason, if you have diabetes, like, people will feel sympathy. But if you have major depression, people will be like, you're bad and evil and should stop talking. And
No,
that's
no, no, no.
not
It's
that's not
it's
right.
it's actually even worse than that, because when people when let's see, let me see if I could say this simply. Okay, I do not consider my condition diseased. I obviously do have conditions, right? Conditions that are very upsetting and alarming to people. I do not consider those conditions diseased, because I think the man that diagnosed me very professionally was raised on not very ethical cargo cult science. So he is a modern materialist flatlander that sees me and says I have a condition that needs to be treated with pills. Okay? And the pills were not helping me at all. The pills, cargo cult science. Look up the man who bongoed and warned people about cargo cult science. Okay,
Mary, let's
I'm trying
get
to
back
get.
to the topic.
Which topic? What disease I actually have, or the fact that I
No,
don't
no, no.
think I have a disease?
I don't think
Right.
either one of those were the topics. We
The
were
topic was what?
actually talking about your Christian witness. Now,
Yes.
you obviously seem to think that there's a relationship between your Christian witness and your
Yes.
cousin being uh, a professional violinist. What
Yes.
is that connection?
Well, I think one of the connection is that somewhere up my family tree was a Roman Catholic patriarch of the Lynn family line that decided, right, full of new ideas, like, even if I come from a family of illiterate backwater peasants, my son, at least my son, deserves education, right? My
Okay,
son deserves parental investment.
what's the relationship of education to you seeing the cross in personally?
Well, because I was installed with every book my parents thought to install me with, including the
Okay.
Bible, right? And
Okay.
in the Bible is some guy saying, right, something about specks and logs, right? A
Okay.
Sunday school lesson of, when you see your brother with a speck in his eye, right? You
Okay.
actually also have a log in your own eye. Take out the log in your own eye first.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah?
So
Yeah, that
what's
guy?
what so okay, what does that have to do with you seeing a cross?
Right? Well, that was the guy that was nailed on a cross, right? Didn't he get nailed on a cross, or is that also a conspiracy of Jews or Romans or Greeks or something else?
Well, depends who you ask, but I mean, I'm still trying to relate,
Mm-hmm.
like, all the stuff you've said, and
Yeah.
I don't see a relationship.
Well, I think that because Jesus Christ died on the cross and came, and was resurrected on Easter Sunday morning,
Uh-huh.
that set off this entire chain of cause and effect that I barely skimmed, such that
Okay.
I'm now a Presbyterian. And one of the
Okay.
spillover effects of that blessing was my lovely cousin, the concert violinist, because his father, right? His father was my dad's older brother. Decided to invest decided to had the funds to invest in that level of education to be a concert violinist, because his father, right, and his father and his, somewhere up my family tree is some guy going, I will invest in my son, even if I
Okay.
cannot save the whole world, I will at least invest in my son.
Okay, Mary, I'm
Yes.
going to break the third wall here.
Okay.
And I'm going to point out
Okay.
that a lot of what we've been talking about actually goes back to John Vervaeke and Ian McGilchrist,
Right.
relevance realization, right?
Right.
And
Right. I barely
our
said that, I'm sorry.
brains, our
Mhm.
brains trying to organize all the various facts we have
Yes.
into a coherent narrative.
Right,
Okay?
right. So my
And
coherence narrative.
when we don't have a coherent narrative where fourth wall, sorry, we don't have a coherent narrative in our mind where the facts are put together. One of the things that we do is talk to other people or even to ourselves, right? And we organize our thoughts. Now, there's a reason why people with disorganized thoughts are diagnosed with schizophrenia, because
Yes.
when your thoughts aren't organized, you don't make sense to yourself that much, and you
No.
don't make sense to other people. This is why
Exactly.
Jordan Peterson has a very good definition of sanity, which is the harmony that you have with your future and other people. Okay.
Yes.
I would
Yes.
also add your environment to that.
Okay, so can we talk music theory then?
Well,
Since you said
hold on.
harmony.
Hold on. See, and jumping off tangential things, right?
Mhm.
This is one of the things that we often see as a symptom of
Yes. Of.
what some people will sometimes call schizophrenic thinking, right?
Yes.
Especially on the internet, people talk about schizo postings or
Yes.
that type of
Yes.
thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
This
I do
comes
not consider this diseased. I'm sorry. You will treat me again. I will not consent to medical treatment for my condition.
nobody's treating you.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
trying to explain to
Yes.
people why it's incredibly important to talk to other people,
Yes.
because when you have a good relationship with other people and you talk with them, this helps you organize your thoughts in ways that, so I'm guessing everybody here's had this experience. Like, actually think about it, right? You say something and you think to yourself, hey, that was a really good way of putting it. I'm actually going to say that again. And it becomes something you say on a regular basis. Or you Brett. Okay, that's hilarious. Or you say something and you think, okay, that didn't work. That's not right, right? That's something I'm not going to say again, right?
Hold on. I'm sorry. Seeking Genuine is giving me unsolicited advice right now. Let me read that out loud. May I?
So this is another thing we call ideas of reference. He's not necessarily talking to you.
Okay, is
Mary.
this the royal? So this is a royal you, not an adversarial you.
This is the third person you. Yeah, you're taking something personally that
yes.
is
Why do I
talking
take things
about generally.
So why do I take things so personally?
It's called ideas of reference. Ideas of reference is one of the symptoms of schizophrenia.
See, again, I do not. Okay, this is okay. So may I, okay. Let me try to calm down and explain myself now. So you have explained to the entire chat, right? How certain unorganized
Mary.
minds work. May I?
Go
Connor,
ahead,
may
Mary.
I?
While you
Sandy, let
organize,
Mary.
Uncle Jacob, may
While you-
I?
Go,
but while
let
you
Mary
organize
speak.
your thoughts,
Grandma Sandy,
okay.
may I please speak? I have words.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so I obviously do have a condition, okay? I obviously have some kind of condition. I have told my story to Jacob, and Jacob knows my story well enough that he's willing to put up with me speaking like this. Because one of the things that I did to myself was I alienated everybody around. Everybody that just I've alienated several people already. Okay, I burned so much social capital that I was left squatting in the dirt talking to myself since at least the 4th grade. Probably earlier than that. I just remember a very, very, very obvious inciting incident in the 4th grade when one of the cliques said Mary is socially toxic, avoid her at all costs. Okay? So that was, let's see, what year is 4th grade? 1980 something. 1988 or 1989 maybe. Okay? Somewhere around there. Somewhere around
But Mary, don't you know you talk too much?
How would I know I talk too much if nobody talks to me? Right? People.
Surely
That is
people
a
your
very
parents
good
must have
question.
told you that.
So why should I trust my parents when they say I talk too much? When my parents barely have time to listen to me talk.
But maybe your classmates, your friends.
Where are my
People,
okay? What friends did I have? What friends did I have?
Okay, I mean,
tell me I was too
maybe
much?
they don't like you because you talk too much.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they don't like me because I get very
So
when I get
talk
very
less.
excited. When I get very excited, I overshare because I have so
Okay,
few
so don't
opportunities.
overshare. Shut up. Be a better
There
listener.
we go.
No,
right
see,
there.
Claire,
That's
that
the
actually
moment.
doesn't work.
That's
See,
the
this is the
moment
part of
that
the
I go
problem.
off. That's
Like-
the moment I take things very personally.
Okay, Mary.
I'm
so-
sorry. I'm
no,
trying to
this
calm
this
down.
is fine because you are absolutely correct. It doesn't work to tell people just to shut up because people need to speak in order to organize their thoughts. Now, I do have I wouldn't call it a solution, but a suggestion that works really, really well. And that's called journaling. So actually sitting down and writing what you want to say, right? Expository writing, thinking your things through. Like, for example, Mary, what you might want to do is actually, like your father wrote that long email explaining the family tree to you, you might want to actually sit down and write out your Christian testimony, right? And once you've written it out, frankly, it's probably and you can even, if you want to, you can record yourself and then write it out. You would be able to then organize your thoughts better, decide what's relevant, what's not relevant, and cut things down. And when you do that, amazingly, you will actually find you will have more organized thinking. You will have an easier time communicating with other people, and people will be more receptive to what you're saying.
Okay, so I actually did that once, very unedited, right? Very just off the top of my head. Story time with OCD. Once upon a time last week, I have posted the link. This is very unedited, very off the top of my head.
Why don't you actually edit it?
What happens when I try to edit myself? Does anybody know?
you have a very hard time, and you start adding other things and moving to different topics. You can't keep on topic.
I
was going to say choices. Making choices are hard.
Why? Yes,
Well, for me,
Utlam finally
requires
makes
choices.
an accurate observation. Mary wants attention. She admits to not honoring her parents and not obeying them when they tell her to shut up. So, why do I want that kind of attention, children? Chat. Anybody? Any smart person want to internet autismo me and figure out why I want that kind of attention when I admit to being a bad child, right? I am, right, according to Confucius, I am a very unfilial daughter when I admit this. I am a dishonor to my parents, dishonor on my family, dishonor on my cow, right? Dishonor. Why do I admit that? Not in public, in this chat full of people.
Go ahead and tell us, Mary. Mary, how about you tell us?
Well, maybe because I have no friends, right? I keep burning social capital, and I'm left by myself, having totally wallflowered.
Okay, can we go back? Can we go back? I mean, I see the journal that you created. Right.
The story of China history.
Yeah. I actually see it right here. So what happens when you try to edit it?
What happens when I try to edit it? Well, I'm like, this is obviously very inaccurate.
What do you mean? It's 27 pages.
Yes, it's 27 pages of me trying to remember off the top of my head the history that I learned as from basically childhood about my own nation's history.
Okay.
Right? But it's actually not very edited.
Okay.
It's not very accurate to whatever.
Okay.
Right? It's however you want to measure accuracy, it is not accurate. Like, if a professional editor came in here and looked at what I wrote, they would pass out.
Okay, but what happens when you try to edit it?
Well, when I try to edit it, I halt and catch fire.
What do you mean?
Well, let the people who understand the Turing halting problem explain that.
How about you explain to us? You're the one who's talking to us. What happens?
Enough.
What do you mean?
I know what I'm talking about when I say Turing machine halting problem?
I don't know. I have never heard of that before.
Really? Jacob Fattorecci you've never learned to code and you've never heard of the Turing halting problem?
I know very little coding, and Mary, you're not answering the question.
Yeah, but this is why we are a group of people. You will find people here who know what the stopping problem is.
Okay.
I can't. So, all right. So, I guess nobody wants to explain on my behalf what the Turing machine halting problem is. I will be happy to explain it to the best of my ability.
Okay.
I will explain. Some machines never shut up.
Exactly. Why not? Why does that machine ever shut up?
Okay, so you're asking whether NP equals P, which is an unsolved problem. Nobody here will solve this problem for you.
Exactly. Nobody will solve the Turing machine halting problem for me. Every mathematical mad lad is trying to solve that problem and going literally insane trying to solve it.
Mary, okay,
yes?
So what you're telling me is that when you try to edit, you can't stop editing?
So in me are two wolves. One is the pantser. I like to fly by. It's fun to fly by the seat of my pants.
Okay.
The other one is the planner.
Okay.
Who likes who's very obsessive about order.
Uh-huh.
And so when the planner and the pantser come together and try to write a story, I can't finish the story.
Okay.
I recurse myself, right? I've recursioned myself into a recursive loop that calls itself, calling itself, calling itself, calling itself, etc., etc. And I halt and catch fire. I play violin. Hold on, Almond Tree just asked if I play violin. I play the piano. I have a piano right here. I can play the piano.
Mary,
But,
let's
no.
get back to you editing your journal, okay?
Right. So yeah, that 27
Can
page
you
month.
read your own journal? Like sit down and just read it to yourself?
A little bit. I sit down and read it to myself, and then I die of cringe because I'm like, oh no, this is so sloppy. This
But
is most
that's
sloppy.
really I dare use the word therapeutic, Mary.
What, cringing at my past writing about how
Yes.
sloppy it is?
Yes.
But
that
then
is
what
that is very therapeutic.
Okay, so but then when I edit myself like that, I burn out because I become very, very, very quote unquote OCD, right? Performatively OCD.
You're so what you're describing, right, is something that we see a lot. I mean, I have done psychotherapy with schizophrenic people.
Okay.
I'm not diagnosing you; that would be illegal,
you.
and I'm not saying that I am just telling you what my experience has been dealing with schizophrenic people, which is when we are actually doing real treatment, which is helping their so schizo actually means separated, right?
Right.
When we're actually narrative making,
Yes.
it's very tiring.
Yes.
So people who usually will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, when you're actually sense making with them, they will eventually become tired and be like, okay, I need to stop. They themselves stop, right? Because you've helped them their brain kind of coalesce. And then when they go to sleep and they wake up, they actually end up having fewer symptoms of schizophrenia. Right? That's why we call it therapeutic. So when I tell you that reading your own journal, especially when you cringe at it, right? So this is one of the problems that our society has caused, which is we don't remember no pain, no gain, right? Sometimes it's good for you to feel the pain of listening to yourself or reading yourself and seeing how, okay, this I don't like this, right? And it is very therapeutic to journal precisely for the reasons that you're explaining right now.
Yes. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't like that kind of unpaid emotional labor for some reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, people don't like it, but it's emotional labor on your own behalf.
Aren't there nunneries with vows of silence? Are there any PCA nunneries?
Mary, Claire is throwing stones. I think mostly because she doesn't feel very good about herself. But
he wants me to go to a no.
But you don't need to react to Claire throwing stones and making snarky remarks. No, you don't. You don't.
So she is throwing stones out of a glass house, huh? And so I could let her throw stones out of her glass house.
Okay, so anytime somebody says something to you, you have to ask yourself, why is this person saying this to me? And usually 99.9% of the time, it has more to do with them than it does with you. So this is another thing we see as therapists a lot. Like you sit there, you're not saying anything, and you start listening to someone, and part of what you do in therapy is you just repeat back what they said to you, right? And then they start disagreeing with themselves or agreeing with themselves, right? And all you were doing was repeating what they said back to them. And you do things like saying, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. So let me try to rephrase it and see if I understand you, right? And then
Mhm.
you rephrase what they're saying, and then they start having a whole conversation with themselves again, right? Because most people, when they talk for themselves. They're not actually talking to you. And that Claire does that a lot. She's been talking into the internet for like 20 years now, and nobody's listening, and she doesn't seem to care.
Oh no. Why won't she care about other people talking?
I don't know. Why don't you care what other people have to say, Claire?
I'm actually quite a good listener. I do listen to people so I can work out what the issues are. And Dot, Mary, you obviously are disturbed by your disturbance, but you can't sit still for long enough to figure it out, and your thoughts are disordered, and you try to occupy yourself, and then you
Hold on.
and it never ends,
hold
right?
on? Is
And
this
you try to distract yourself by talking.
is this a royal you, a generic you, or you're actually addressing me now? I have to understand this.
I am addressing you
directly
and your
adversarially.
problem and why you can't stop talking.
Objection! I object to that sort of adversarial relationship. Objection. We are not in a court of law. We are not even in a court of public opinion.
No. You don't get where you are. Here, we do opponent processing.
No,
This is what we do. We put ourselves next to each other in a friendly way.
Friendly? We have to be friendly.
Yeah, you have to be friendly.
May I object in a friendly way then? Objection.
Yes, but please understand that putting ourselves against you in a friendly way is what we do around here.
Okay, so my friendly objection is, right, it upsets me on a fundamental level when somebody tells me what you just wrote in the comments. I will not read it, right, because that triggers me a little bit. I am trying not to be triggered, right? I'm supposed to be a grown-up wearing grown-up pants. Right? I just haven't had a chance to best friend fisticuffs anybody, not even verbally, for a very long time. So when my mouth goes places, I'm looking for, right? See, Mary doesn't even listen to her own parents. I am profoundly unfilial, right?
Okay, let me actually correct Claire here, because this is a important mistake a lot of people make, right? So she says, Mary, repeat after me. People will like me more if I shut up. People will like me more if I shut up. People will like me more if I shut up. There are lots of people who say that to themselves. Those are the most miserable people that nobody will like.
Yes, exactly.
People don't like you more if you shut up. People like you more if you actually relate to them, and you can't relate to people if you shut up. If you say things which people can't hear or won't hear, right, then you can't build a relationship with them. And if you say things that people, if you're just saying a lot of things that aren't very relevant, most people will be like, oh, I need to go do something else because I spent half an hour trying to hear Mary's Christian witness, but she was talking about her cousin, the violin player, instead of telling me that she saw a vision of the cross as a child. Right?
Yes, because I was trying to get to where I saw I was trying to get to where I saw the cross.
And this brings us back to you journaling, right? So you wrote a whole 27-page thing, right?
That's just history of China. That's not even history of my life.
Okay. So
right?
What you can do is actually power through the cringe, your own cringe. We must be able to sit with our own cringe, right? And actually read through and edit it. Like, you should be able to tell your Christian testimony in no more than 5 pages.
Well, I can't get. I don't know if I can get no more than 5 pages because I once did a PowerPoint witness
Uh-huh.
of my testimony.
Okay.
Okay, because my lovely PCA pastor asked me to present my testimony.
Okay.
Right. I will ignore what Udlam says about me in the third person. Even I can't look at the comments right now.
Okay.
All right, I literally can't look at that because that is actually, that kind of third person shade is also a little bit upsetting, as if I can't read. Anyway, so yeah, I spent a while actually trying to do a PowerPoint presentation of my actual Christian testimony, of like how I found Jesus, how Jesus found me. Basically, I wasn't actually looking for Jesus. At the time that Jesus found me, I was just being mad at my mom. Jesus got me good. Okay, but and then I realized, oh, actually, it's not just that moment. It's every moment since perhaps at least, maybe not every moment from Genesis. Well, I mean, maybe it is every moment from Genesis 1:1, right? Maybe, I don't know, right? I haven't finished.
Well, that's the thing, Mary. No, so you should be able to. I mean, you were able to tell your Christian witness in one sentence.
Yes, the 12-year-old conversion experience. Yes.
Yeah. So
the 12-year-old conversion. But hold on.
Yeah.
When I tell the 12-year-old conversion experience, right? Certain actually people tip their fedoras and say, actually, that's just fill in the blank, right? The constructionists come in and try to deconstruct my personal witness.
Okay, so who cares?
Right? Why should I care about those deconstructionists?
Yeah. Why do you care about those deconstructionists?
Why do I care about the deconstructionists trying to deconstruct my conversion story out of Christianity?
Why?
Why? Does anybody know? Does anybody want to tell
Mary,
me why?
you tell us what.
Because that is my foundational tree of life, okay? Or whatever you want to call it. My tree of life is founded on that conversion experience.
Okay.
And if you guys really want to deconstruct my personal founding, right? My tree of life, you want to chop it down and burn it to the ground as modern materialist flatland. Enjoy nuclear fire then. If Jacob would please, nuclear fire for me. No?
Nuclear fire.
Thank you. Right? That's because that is in my moral imagination as my worst possible self. Okay? I know me at my worst possible self. I would nuke. I would just I would just Mario Party mash that nuclear button in the entire nuclear arsenal of every nation on the planet. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's in my moral
Mary,
imagination.
we were talking about why you care about other people deconstructing your Christian witness.
Yes,
why do you care?
Because that's the alternative. That's I don't want to be my worst possible self.
Okay, no. Okay, no? So hold on. I'm gonna build the connections here because I don't think you made the connections, right? Okay. So you have a Christian witness, which is very important to you.
Yes.
Other people are deconstructing it, right?
Yes.
And you know that if they are capable of actually deconstructing your Christian witness, you would be a worse person, right?
I would be such a worse person that I would be the worst person imaginable.
Mary.
Yes.
If they don't believe your Christian witness, does that mean you don't have to believe it in your Christian witness?
I don't know, right? People are acting very authoritative around me, and they say that I have to submit to their authority in whatever way. The words they use, the tone they use, the body language they use. Huh?
Do you have to submit to their authority?
I don't know, right? Why am I? Do I have to submit to Jacob Federici's authority here on the StreamYard?
Do you?
Right? Yeah. See.
Well,
Somebody just
no. I mean,
nodded.
you really don't, because you don't have to be here if you don't want to be.
Right. Well, why am I still here then? Do I want to be here?
Because
Submitting
you're
to Jacob
because
Federici's
you're among
authority?
because you're among friends, and you like
Really?
being among friends.
I
Yeah,
like being among friends. Why do I consider you guys my friends then?
because we are.
Because we talk to you.
Because you were willing to put up with me when I accidentally triggered myself when I started screaming about total nuclear
Okay,
annihilation. Right?
Claire has a great idea, which I actually agree with, which
Mhm.
is you can get a free StreamYard, and you can actually stream to your own channel, right?
Okay, so
But
hold
that's a form of video journaling. But
I've
will
already-
tell you,
I already tried that. I
Yeah.
already tried that several years ago, and I burned out of speaking into the void because I could
Okay.
not speak into the void. I felt insane speaking into the void with
what do you
nobody.
mean you felt it? Okay, see, this is the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
What
but now
you
you
have
have
to
us.
do, what you have to do if you do this
Is
is
speak
you
into
have
the
to
void
actually
and speak.
no, you have to
insane?
actually listen to your own streams.
I have to cringe at my own scream. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, you have to go
Hold
back,
on. Let me
listen to
see.
your own stream.
I might still have a clip saved from one of my past cringes. Where I
Okay.
cringed so hard I died of cringe. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. But let me
You guys talk
tell
among
you.
yourselves, and I will do it. I will look for it. Hold on.
Let me tell you something.
Uh-huh.
In the past, when you were talking into the microphone, you didn't know if anybody was listening.
Yes.
This time you have us, and you know we're going to be listening.
Really? Will I know how will I know anybody is listening?
Because YouTube will tell you how many people are watching.
Why that makes me incredibly
And they will be
anxious.
posting in the chat telling you what they think.
And
That also makes
Claire
me
will
incredibly
leave
anxious.
like 40 comments on every video.
I will halt and catch fire.
Yeah, I
Try to
will.
scream for that. If I try to stream like that, I will halt and catch fire.
You just love the attention, Mary.
I couldn't handle that level of attention.
If you tell us what your channel is, we'll.
Hold on. I'm looking for the link now. Let me spaghetti a little bit. Right. Okay. So here is a clip of Past Me Cringe. If you want to enjoy Past Me Cringe, that also links to my old Twitch channel. Right. Right now, I do not have the proper tech support to live stream myself to my own satisfaction, because I used to stream through OBS, and then OBS died of cringe, and Windows is dying of cringe. Several things around me are dying of cringe, and I do not have the proper tech support for that. But here is a video of Past Me Cringe. If somebody wants to all die of cringe together, of me having died of cringe once upon a time last week.
4 years ago?
Huh?
Pokemon Emerald version? Is that your channel? No, Dot Warner 17. There you go.
Yes. If you guys all want to enjoy me Past Me's cringe, there it is. There's one of the clips.
Dot Warner 17. You have 41 followers.
I have 41 followers. I cannot perform in front of 41 followers. I can't even.
What do you mean? Why can't you perform in front of 20? Why?
I start vibrating out of my skin with all the anxiety, and then I have to go off stream and lie down and sleep.
Anytime you get so tired that you have to go sleep, that's probably a good exercise.
Really?
Yeah.
But it makes me feel worse when I wake up, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I just did it again. I just vibrated so hard I couldn't even. There's another video if you want to see me also being very cringe that's still on the Twitch. Let me see. What other clips
But
do I still have in here?
do you watch your own videos?
Sometimes, yeah. I used to have an entire YouTube vid channel of very cringe stuff. Let me see if it's still on the internet. Where am I on the internet?
Claire, do you watch your own videos?
I am that much of a narcissist. I will watch my own videos and die of cringe.
Them. I always listen to them.
You always listen to them and timestamp them?
No, I do listen, but at double speed, I have to timestamp them.
Okay.
Oh,
As a
that
matter
is.
of course.
I have to. I listen to myself
because actually I find
real time,
I miss out.
and then I
on
die
a
of
lot.
cringe in real time.
Okay,
Okay,
Mary, let
yes?
Claire speak. Claire, you were saying you
just
find
force
what?
yourself to listen to them.
Yeah.
Yes, I have forced myself to listen to myself.
I force myself to, and then you just get better at saying what you want to say.
You do.
But I mean,
This is
you're
very
obviously trying to express
I have to take this
something.
phone call, sorry.
People talk as a kind of displacement therapy, and a lot of this talking is people think that by talking eventually the problem will come out and with it the solution. That's why so many people are not online, almost permanently complaining, and obviously it's you.
Are you speaking generically, or are you okay? Thank you for letting me confirm that you are speaking.
Well, I'm addressing you and your problems.
No, see, this is exactly no. You do not get to address. You do not get to address me and my problems because you obviously have no idea what my real problem is. You assume my problem.
What is your real problem? Okay, you can contradict me and say
I am
wrong.
not. Yeah. You don't see. You won't listen to me when I'm trying to Okay, so my most current real problem is that my very lovely parents are probably going to die of old age very soon. Whenever God decides to call them home, they will go home, right? And because I'm their 47-year-old unmarried virgin daughter, they don't want to leave me any of their unfinished business. They think I can't handle their unfinished business. Okay? My baby brother is 38 years old this year, I think. Okay? I'm 47, he's 38, I think. Somewhere around there. Okay? He is married, he has a family, he has his own family. So my parents, again, don't want to leave either of us their unfinished business. Them handling their unfinished business for us is upsetting me. Okay? This is the death of my world.
What do you mean by unfinished business?
My parents have a lot of unfinished business.
What do you mean by unfinished business?
Well, my parents are trying to sell whatever they have.
Can you give an example of what you might mean?
Okay, so there is an apartment in Taiwan that my parents have been trying to sell to get it off their hands so that it doesn't go to Republic of China's estate court. Okay, because they think I can't handle going to the Republic of China to stand in an estate court to say me or my brother should handle my parents' estate after my parents die. Okay, they were originally going back to Taiwan to sell that apartment. And then they heard from the actual tenants in that apartment saying, oh, we sued our stupid house flipper, right, who was trying to turn us into a stupid condo. But all they did was sit on the property and do nothing with it. And so we had to sue them in civil court to get the rights of this property off their hands. And now we are waiting for a new house flipper to flip this thing into a better arrangement. Okay? My parents think that it's a better investment in the future. At 75, or 74, however they are this old they are this year. I can't even remember, because they're old. They're old enough to know that they are mortal, that they can't leave me this mess. Okay, they think I am fundamentally incapable of handling this mess on their behalf as the executor of their estate. Okay, I am not the legally defined.
With your brother.
My baby brother
There
also
are
has his family.
I guess.
My baby brother also has his family, so my parents also feel bad about naming him as the legal executor of their estate. They're trying to handle their estate themselves before they die, okay? And the fact that my parents are going to die of old age is very, 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 very upsetting to me. So anything that
my mom died at 90, 2 years ago. And I was down as an executor with my sister. And you're right, these are very upsetting places. I can hear at least 4 to 5 threads of all sorts of different things going through this problem, just having lived through some similar places myself. And I don't know that all 5 of those threads can be woven into one tapestry to create a single solution. For my mother, within my situation, there were at least several things that happened. My sister, who is also younger than me, took over the estate thing because she had done it before for someone. And because timing wise, that was the wise decision for me, because I had, besides that one situation, at least my partner had recently died the year before. When you start interweaving things, which I tend to as well, Jacob can attest to my conversations, trying to make sense of, creating a massive tapestry that doesn't just look like a giant knot. Sometimes it's really hard, and I'm about 5 years post and still working through some of the grief places of frustration, as well as loss, as well as regret, as well as factual things that needed to be problem solved. And yeah, maybe anger is a really good thing, but not necessarily to create the solution. And in relation to what Yoav and Jacob were saying, is, for me at least, I have found this to be an incredibly safe place, not necessarily always on live stream, but an incredibly safe place to have an ability to look at which thread am I pulling now, and how do other people see that happening? Am I actually pulling the thread I think I'm pulling? And is that the one that I need to deal with? And in which order? This to me is a good conversation, in the sense that it gets at issues like this that everybody goes through in some respect. Maybe they don't all have as tangled a piece of, they don't all have as tangled a tapestry or a giant knot as I have presented at times, or maybe that you are presenting now. But we all can relate to those places.
Sandy,
and so yes,
I think
listening can happen.
Mary is
important. Claire.
I'm just saying
you said
that
stuff to me
Mary
too.
was.
Fine. That's
good. What stuff?
I'm simply laying a second tapestry beside the first. What she's describing is very valid, and I don't think harsh shutdown.
I think you've just upset her even more by interrupting her, if you read the chat.
Perhaps.
By
Yes.
Talking about your issues when this is supposed to be about her.
In relation to, like Claire, if I was saying to you on my behalf what Mary said to you, I choose friends who can be blunt. I don't want friends who can be harsh in the sense of being caustic. There is a difference. And I love having blunt friends, and I love having people listen. And I really hope, Mary, that you find this place to be a place of value. Don't just disappear.
I want to say, I went briefly into your YouTube channel, and I see that 4 years ago, you have posted some video, and Paul van der Klee replied to it, and Grim Grease replied to it. So it's a pity that that conversation didn't continue for 4 years. But if you don't know the group, Paul van der Klee and Grim Grease are 2 major chieftains. So it's not that all of us will listen to you. Our managers will speak with you. So please stick with us.
I mean, okay, so I was willing to let Sandy interrupt me, right? Instead of trying to scream over her, because I was willing to trust that Sandy had something, right? Because I could feel myself losing control of my emotions. I was feeling it happening in real time, and I was like, okay, obviously I need to take a deep breath and calm myself down and just let Sandy talk for a little bit, right? But I actually wasn't all calmed down. That's why I ended up typing in the chat that I actually wasn't done, right? I actually wanted to express my very intense distress that my parents apparently can't trust me as the executor of their estate. They are really, at 74 and 75, doing something as taxing, as emotionally and physically and however taxing on them, to fly from Florida to Taiwan. This is like a 24-hour trip to deal with the paperwork there, so that I don't have to do it for them after they're dead. Okay? Like, the fact that they're going to die is already upsetting to me, right? The fact that they're doing this to themselves for me is also very upsetting to me. And then when they cheerfully go, live as if we're already dead, right? As part of that kind of black humor that happens in families, I go, am I supposed to take that seriously? Right? Am I really supposed to live as if my parents are already dead? Because when I live as if my parents are already dead, it also upsets them. One of the times I went off in BOM was because my mom made a face at me because I told her, right, sorry, Mom, I can't wait for you to handle something that's been living it rent free in my head for several years now. I am handling it by myself if I have to, right? I can do it out of sheer spite if I have to, because I told her several years ago that I have issues about this house, right? I have a to-do list that's as long as Orange County, Florida is wide about the issues in this house. I want to live in this house for the rest of my natural life, right? And so I'm like, well, I see all sorts of unaddressed issues that might need addressing soon, soon TM, preferably before the hurricane moves in and shows the problem for me. Because, I live in freaking hurricane country. We built on sand in the middle of a swamp, right? All sorts of civil engineering boundary problems I see here in my own house. So I said, okay, I have learned just enough DIY to doom it myself. Ha 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 ha. And then so I told my mom, right? I was very excited. I was like, yeah, Mom, look at how well I've organized my house. Just very, very, and baby's first engineer, right? Very baby's first civil engineer. I am engineering my house into some semblance of order. And here, look, I am taking apart the porch that I have been saying needs to be taken apart for at least 3 to 5 years now, because all the underneath wood is slowly rotting away. I don't want to wait for a hurricane to tear this thing apart on my behalf. That sounds rather
And they
frightening.
weren't happy.
They weren't happy about the fact that
Did
I
you
was
consult them
doing it
before you
myself.
did those work?
No, I told them. I told them 3 to 5
Did they
years
complain
ago.
about the quality of the work?
What about the quality of
Right,
me
so-
doing this myself? Hold on. So 3 to 5
Yeah.
years ago, let me talk, please. Do not interrupt me, please.
Oh.
3 to 5. Yeah, you want to talk too, don't you? Yeah, listen. Please listen to me first, and then you can share what you have to share.
I want
can
you to
take
get to the
it
point.
into-
I don't want to hear a long story.
You don't want to hear a long story. Well, unfortunately, the story is a little bit long. The long story is
No,
TLDR.
can you avoid long stories and answer?
So you let me talk then.
Yeah,
Will you
exactly.
Let me actually
So
the story is 5. Okay, so I'll try 5 points.
because
okay?
you never get to the point.
Let me get to the point then. I have 5 points. Okay. 1, 3 to 5 years ago, I told my mother that the wood underneath my outside porch was rotting. I could see it. I could see the wood rotting from underneath. Okay. 2, 3 to 5 years ago, my mom said, "Okay, I will. Don't do it yourself. I will ask a friend to do it for you." That was 3 to 5 years ago. Okay, 3 to 5 years.
Was
So
it
3
done
to 5
well?
years ago, huh? She never
Was the
called
work
me
done
a
well?
friend. What work? The work of taking
Okay,
the
so it was
porch
never
apart.
done. It was never done.
It was 3 to 5 years ago. I told my mother about this problem. 3 to 5 years ago, she said she was going to ask her friend about this. 3 to 5, and then so in those 3 to 5 years, nobody ever showed up to take this porch apart for me. Okay? So now that my mother and father said very cheerfully as part of our family black humor, "Oh, go ahead and live as if we're already dead," right? I went, okay. I took them at their word. I took that seriously. I started taking apart my porch. That's point 3. Point 4, my mother found out that I'm taking apart this porch. She went,
What
"Oh,
the
really?
fuck did you expect?
What did I expect? What did I expect?
Yeah, so
Right?
so if you want to honor your parents, don't you think you should stop being such a worry and a burden to them? Why don't you try and get
Point
better?
5.
Why don't you
How
fix
do I
yourself?
not? How do I not be a burden to my parents when everything
Shut
I
the
do
fuck up.
seems to be one? No.
Yeah, it doesn't just annoy your parents, it annoys everybody, right? And you know
Objection.
it, and you won't stop because you think you have a right to annoy everybody.
Why don't I have a right to annoy everybody? Objection.
Well, I mean, if you cared about your parents the way you pretend to, then you would
Objection.
obey them
Objection.
and you
Do
would
I
stop being
care about
such
my
a
parents?
worry and a nuisance to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you do. You just, you
Objection.
tend to
Hold
cry
on,
and
hold
shake
on,
after
hold.
tears. You don't.
Okay. So time for a break for the both of you. Nobody has a right to annoy anyone, but people have a right to speak when they want to speak. Okay? Now, they don't have a right to be listened to. Right? So if you want to speak, you can, but not everybody has to listen to you. Okay? If you want people to listen to you, you should be polite and try to keep things polite and sociable as much as you can. That doesn't mean you always have to, but you generally want to. Okay? Now, I am going to let both Mary and Claire back into the room if they can promise that they will try to be polite. Okay? So, Mary, can you promise you will try to be polite?
I mean, Uncle
Yeah,
Jacob
yes
is
or
very
no?
good.
Will you try to be polite?
To the best of my ability. That's all I can promise.
All I ask is that you try. Claire, will you try to be polite?
I won't speak anymore. I think I've said what I need to say. Thank you, Jacob. I'll actually leave
Okay.
so that you guys do your fun. But thanks for having me.
That is perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine, Claire.
Ooh. Somebody has admitted a confession. May I read it out loud?
Sure.
All right. So somebody who will remain unnamed.
Her
I
name is
confess
Dawn.
I sometimes feel the same way Claire does. I would just never say it out loud. This is frustrating. Woo! Claire said the quiet thing out loud. Woo!
Well, I mean, I have to admit, I haven't been listening to this entire conversation because I did have to take a phone call.
Yeah.
So I did miss at least part of it, and I
hold on. Well, I actually might have to leave. I just heard somebody knock on the door. You guys jam without me. Go.
Okay. And the phone call was, I got a job. Yay. I am going to be officially an associate clinical social worker at an intensive outpatient clinic. So we'll see how that works out. Laura's here. Hey, Laura. How you doing? Chazi says enough. Jacob, stop this. What am I stopping?
You can go back to whatever original subject you wanted to discuss 10 years ago.
I mean, it's a just chatting stream.
Yeah, you said something about somebody that you might mention.
Oh, James White? I mean, I guess we could talk about James White.
Who's that? Just tell me who's that and what's the subject. Okay,
so James White is actually somebody I very much respect. And right now, because he is a thorough researcher. So James White, actually, I can play the clip.
I'm not sure who Fatarecci is. I can't tell.
So that's Dr. James White. And if James White ever notices me, I'll be like, yay, Senpai noticed me. And I will actually fangirl, unlike the fact that I, despite what people claim, I did not fangirl when Gavin Ortland came on. I was just being respectful. This clip, yeah, I use this clip a lot. It's one of my favorites, actually.
I'm not sure who Fatarecci is. I can't tell.
So the fact that he says he's not sure who Fatarecci is means I think he's actually watched my channel. And the reason I believe he's watched my channel is he, unlike anybody else, well, unlike the vast majority of people on the internet, actually does his homework. And he's going to have a debate with Father Stephen in March, I think it is, in Arkansas. He's spent the last year trying to understand Eastern Orthodoxy better, which means that he's been listening to Father Stephen stuff, which means that he may have listened to some of my Father Stephen videos, which, frankly, is a great honor. And when Keith Foskey was out, I was on my channel, I did ask Keith if he could pass on some information to Dr. White. So I listen to Dr. White pretty much constantly because I do try to understand the Calvinists. I still don't understand Calvinists, despite the fact that I've listened to many hours of Dr. White. I probably should get his book, The Potter's Freedom, and try reading it. But my guess is it's going to be the exact same thing that I always read from Calvinists, so like I would be surprised if there's anything new in it, but I've been definitely tempted to read it just so I could say I have read it. Anyway, so James White has started on his Eastern Orthodoxy kick, right? And he's going to do his first 2 debates on Eastern Orthodoxy. Claire wants to come back. Claire, you're welcome back, but you do have to. I do have to ask. Do you promise you will try to be polite?
Yes. I wanted to discuss Calvinism actually, because I've done a bit of research into that. That's why
I
came
thought
back.
John Calvin
Not-
already got killed with cringe. We've already killed John Calvin with cringe.
We have not killed. I mean, there are 2 people I try to kill every day: John Calvin and Martin Luther. Unfortunately, they are both still alive.
Why?
But,
why are they still? Aren't they already dead and their corpses buried somewhere? Can't we just dig up their corpses and very dramatically destroy their corpses in public?
that I have no interest whatsoever in physically killing them. I'm pretty sure they're dead that way. Unfortunately, their
the meme is not dead yet.
Yes, their spirit.
Why is it your job to kill the meme?
Because they were horrible people.
Really?
Yes.
Horrible Jew-hating people, yes? That's
Well, Luther was very much a Jew-hating person. That's not the only reason he was a horrible person, but that is certainly my main beef with Martin Luther.
Yes, okay.
John Calvin.
I suspect strongly for Jacob, this place hits that spot where we go, is it a job, a career, or a calling?
Yes, exactly.
It's a calling. This is definitely a calling. Yeah.
So is it a divinely appointed calling?
I believe so.
So did an Orthodox rabbi anoint you for this calling?
No. I have not been anointed. No.
You have not been anointed by any recognizable Jewish authority for this divine calling.
Correct.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I guess we can. Okay, so how do you want to kill Calvin with the cringe today? Over Cerebitus, or over Tulip, or over?
Well, okay. So
what do you want to kill him over?
This is usually the outro to my channel, but might as well play it here because it's one of my favorites. I'm going to use host's prerogative to put the Reverend Parcells to bed because he does need to get up in the morning.
Sorry, Reverend. Thank you.
But before he goes, I have a question. Let's say, God forbid, that I were to burn somebody at the stake for not being a Trinitarian. And I did not repent of that. Is that a salvation issue?
Sometimes Jacob takes that devil's advocate thing too far.
There's a proverb that says something like, don't answer a fool according to his folly.
But there's a proverb that says, answer a fool according to his folly.
There is. Exactly right. I'm going to leave it to you guys to determine, which of those was applicable in this situation as I go. So, but anyhow, good.
Thank you, Reverend.
Good to chat with you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah. Just remember that Claire wanted to say something.
Yes, Claire. What did you want to say?
Oh, thank you, Yoav. I don't know if it's a bit late in the stream to be discussing Calvinism, which is such a heavy subject. This is the 4th hour, after all, of your stream. and maybe people are getting a bit tired, but yes, the predestination thing, why Jefferson hated Calvinism so much.
Double predestination. Calvinists don't just
Calvin,
believe they don't just
basic-
believe in predestination. They believe in double predestination.
Whoa, how doubly predestined am I? if I'm a Reformed Presbyterian.
Perhaps you could
double
explain the double
predestined am I?
predestination thing.
So, sure. So apparently, a lot of Christians, God have mercy on their souls, believe in predestination, meaning that before the creation of the world, God had chosen some of them to be elect and go to heaven, and through his grace. And so those people definitely are predestined to heaven. But that's single predestination. Double predestination is God actually chose some people to go to heaven and all the other people to go to hell. So this is my meme of Calvinist conversations with Calvinist Jesus. So the young man goes, "Master, what must I do to inherit eternal life?" And Calvinist Jesus answers, "Nothing, as I've assigned you to hell."
Yeah, so Calvinists don't read their Bible very well. So Calvinists need to die of cringe and read their Bibles better as Reformed.
But you're a
Presbyterians.
Presbyterian, Mary.
Yes, I am Presbyterian. I am still, despite my inability to understand double predestination, a member in good standing in my PCA congregation because my PCA pastor said, pray about it, ask the Holy Spirit, right, to help you understand this, because I'm still trying to understand double predestination. And I'm like, okay, even supposing this were true, right? Even supposing there is a Lamb's Book of Life for all the saved and everybody else is predestined for hellfire, right? Whatever flavor of hellfire you want. I mean, I'm a fan of the eternal conscious torment variety for reasons. So let's say that, right? Let's say that in the Book of Life are all the most definitely saved people. Everybody else, eternal conscious torment and forever hellfire. Okay. Supposing that's true, just hypothetically, I think we're all smart enough to understand hypothetical situations here. Even
Brett,
that
I'm not
true.
I'm not sure, Brett, if you're saying that we're misrepresent. I mean, I try to represent Calvinists as best as I can,
right?
But I'm
the Reformed Presbyterian in this chat.
As I understand Calvinism, it is the greatest blasphemy I have ever encountered. It is spiritual poison. It is psychological poison, and it will kill you.
So here is my counter offer as a Reformed Presbyterian. Even assuming this is true, okay, the worst possible version of Calvin double predestination you can imagine, which is what I just floated, right? Okay, even supposing that were true, how do you know your name is in the Lamb's Book of Life?
Right. So that gets into assurance of salvation, which is something we started talking about much earlier. Which
right? How can you be sure you are in the Lamb's Book of Life? That's the joke. You can't.
If you have assurance of salvation, which both Gavin Ortland and Dr. James White claim that they have, I can tell you that because you feel assured in your salvation, you are one of the people I would put least likely on the list of actually being saved. Which is painful to say, because I know a lot of nice people who think they have an assurance of salvation, and that is one of the most dangerous beliefs anyone could ever have.
This is why in the Gospels, some guy tells a story that ends with the God of the universe, right? The guy who claims to be the God, right? That one true God, right? Some guy claims to be the son of the only begotten son of the one true God, and he tells a story where that son of the one true God says, "Leave me, I know you not." Right? What the heck does that mean? What does it mean for Jesus, who claims to be the son of the begotten, right? The only son of the only begotten son of the one true God, to not know who you are?
Okay, I am going to do
Mm-hmm.
the Jacob thing. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are on Safaria.org.
Mm-hmm.
Safaria.org, great
Yes.
website. It's free.
Yes.
You
Yes.
don't even have to create an account, but I highly
Right.
recommend it.
Right.
And if you go to the Mishnah, right?
Okay.
In the Mishnah, if you go all the way down to the order of damages, Seder Nazikin,
Uh-huh.
right? There is a there are 6 chapters. Only 4
Mhm.
of them are actually part of the Mishnah. There are 6 chapters called Pirkei Avot, right? And so this is, I highly, highly recommend any Christian who wants to understand what was the environment in which Jesus and Paul were speaking, that they should read at least the first 2 chapters of Pirkei Avot. It's the section of the Mishnah called Avot. It is one of the oldest. It is likely the oldest part of the Mishnah, and it is quite likely. I don't think any reasonable scholar would say that those things which are recorded in the first 2 chapters were not common sayings that both Paul and Jesus and likely all of the apostles had heard of and were aware of. So I highly, highly recommend reading the first 2 chapters of at least the first 2 chapters of Avot, and it does speak about your assurance of salvation.
So sorry to interrupt, but it
Yeah.
just said now specifically, don't talk much with women.
Yeah, right. So that's one of the no. So what it says is al tarbes sicha im haisha, right? And it's actually talking about speaking too much with your wife, right? So
No, there was a clarification after that.
what?
They say
Yeah.
with any wife, any women, and especially not with your wife.
Right.
That's what's written there.
Well, yes. And well, it says beishto omer. Yeah. I mean, we can look it up. It was 1:9, is it? Which one is it? Where was it? I don't have it. It is in the first chapter because we always get to it and people always lose their minds because they always do. Here, let me see which one it is.
Okay. Well, while he's looking for that, may I share what the verse I finally found? That one of the
Yes.
verses that I found. Right, I posted it into chat. The parable of the wise and foolish virgins.
Yeah.
Matthew 25, chapter 25, verses 1 to 13. May I read that while you're looking for your thing?
Sure. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. That they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. but go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they were to buy, the bridegroom came, and that they were ready, went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. The word of the Lord. So yeah, I kind of know my Bible reading ritual, sort of, maybe. I don't know.
Very, very nice. So Brett, I have to say, while I have invited many Calvinists on the channel to try to explain Calvinism, nobody frames it accurately. You are 100% correct, because it's impossible to speak blasphemies like Calvinism with accurately without it's impossible without being like ugh. And
So again,
despite all the ways that I have tried, like the one person who used to come on my channel and defend Calvinism, he's actually an Eastern Orthodox, moving to the Eastern Orthodox Church now. He no longer believes in Calvinism because I'm sorry, but like it's really, really bad.
Right. So I'm a Presbyterian of the PCA. May I please repeat the question I gave to everybody? Right.
What was your question?
So again, right, supposing the worst possible version of Calvinism were true, right? The everything, right? You are in, or you are on the list, or you are not on the list. And if you are not on the list, you go to eternal conscious torment hell. Yes.
Right.
How can any kind of Calvinist be sure they are in the PCA book, or in the Lamb's Book of Life?
They can't.
They can't, right? So the ones that act sure that they are in the Lamb's Book of Life, they are what we call not real Calvinists. Ha 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 ha.
Well, I mean,
no?
it's really horrible in many ways, because Gavin Ortland will keep so.
But is
I
Gavin?
Mean, hold on. You can't say James White isn't a Calvinist. I mean, he's a Reformed Baptist. He's a Reformed Baptist, and he's the biggest defender of double predestination. And he keeps on saying he has peace in Christ.
Yeah.
And how he has that peace is, frankly, completely incomprehensible to me. And,
this is because you're not a Reformed Presbyterian.
No,
you
that's
are a
not,
Jew, and
no.
You know, you understand the verse, "I create good and evil differently," right? What God says in the book of Isaiah.
Okay, Mary, you know what? We're going way off track. Let's go back 1 second to the Pirkei Avot. So this is 1:5, the one Yoav was talking about, and I pulled it up because I wanted to show he's actually flipped, as many people do, the emphasis, right? So, I should probably read it in English, because so Yosef ben Yochanan, a man of Jerusalem, used to say, "Let thy house be wide open, and let the poor be members of thy household. Engage not in too much conversation with women."
Gasp.
They said this with regard to one's own wife. How much more so does that apply with regard to another man's wife? From here, the sages said, as long as a man engages in too much conversation with women, he causes evil to himself, he neglects the study of the Torah, and in the end, he will inherit Gehinnom, which is hell. I think, I mean, trying to explain this comes a lot of times, but I highly recommend to any man out there who is married, remember, do not increase the chatting with your wife, because it's a bad idea. That's not the same as saying don't talk to your wife. You should actually talk to your wife a lot.
Don't make your wife into a garrulous she-devil. You'll hate that. Book of Proverbs. You know?
Now the one that I was actually pulling up was Mishnah 2:4, right? And this is Rabban Gamliel, right? Not the I don't think, is this Gamliel the first? I don't think this is this may actually be, it says Benoshel Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. So I guess it was Gamliel the first. So he would say do his will as though it were your will, so that he will do your will as though it were his, capital H, his. Set aside your will in the face of his will, so that he may set aside the will of others for the sake of your will. Hillel said, do not separate yourself from the community. Do not trust in yourself until the day of your death. Do not judge your fellow man until you have reached his place. Do not say something that cannot be understood, trusting that in the end it will be understood. Say not, when I shall have leisure, I shall study. Perhaps you will not have leisure. So, do not trust in yourself until the day of your death. Yeah, that's the Jewish answer. You have zero assurance, and until you die, you have to always doubt that you will be able to finish the race well. Yoav has commentary. No, Yoav does not have commentary. Dot is furiously typing away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, because while I'm trying not to interrupt people, and I
That's very good.
Yeah, because so when I literally left the room because somebody had been knocking on my door, that was FedEx being very professional. So I was like, yay, professional people being very professional. So I came back in a good enough mood to read the comments again. And so while Jacob was talking, I half tuned him out to read comments.
Very
right?
nice.
Sorry, some of your words went in one ear and many of the words went out the other. So
don't worry, it wasn't very important stuff.
Okay, so while the comments scroll went blurt, right? And so the last question that got handed to me was, do I ever worry about being saved? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was going to type an entire wall of words, and then the way I'm hacking, the psychotechnology I developed against the worry that I'm not really saved, is that number one, right? Number one, if I really am lost, then nobody would bother me about whether or not I'm lost. Does that make sense to you? Like, people, like, there's a certain, like, supposing, okay, well, no, let me see. Supposing there is a war for souls raging on in the world, right? Some people want to doom souls and some people want to save them. And so when I hear from people, I'm doomed, I'm go, oh, okay, I'm actually not doomed, right? If I hear from somebody, I'm lost, then I'm actually not lost.
Mary?
No?
Didn't you say that you had a vision of the cross?
Yeah, well, I mean, was that a real vision or not, right? Every horizontal and every vertical bar in my house intersecting, is that a vision of the cross, or is that just me projecting something out into the meme sphere?
Aha, I see.
Right? Why should any of us assume we are going to heaven? I don't. I say hell. I say eternal conscious torment hell is closed due to me being an internet autist, shoving everybody else out of hell.
Do you believe God loves you?
I try to act as if God loves me, and apparently this is what pops out of me when I act as if.
Sandy, you're muted. You wanted to say something?
Sorry. Well, yeah. In relation probably to some of my comments in the chat, but do you believe that God loves you is not exactly the same as acting as if God loves you. I think that in the places of relationship, Jewish, Christian, both have a place, but they are not the same thing. And
Okay,
I'm
so
still thinking about the Mishnah Pirkei Avot. So that was awesome. Thanks, Jacob.
So
okay, so
Dawn,
in the book, if I
Dawn-
may continue,
let me
I'm trying
give me 1 second. Don quoted Rabbi Yosef Reisen, who is one of our favorite rabbis around here. So let me read that, and then you can continue. How can one know God's will if not a prophet? We pray the words of the prayers he taught us to seek forgiveness with, and then we simply trust in him and his mercy. And I would say that is the right way of looking at it. But go ahead, Mary.
okay, so like in the book of Judges is a story, right? Where like people went to war against each other, and the way they caught the wrong people at the river was they said, say the right word, right? And everybody who couldn't say the right word got literally put to the sword. The Shibboleth story, yes? I see everybody nodding and everybody kind of understanding. We are now. Are we playing that game right now? Are we playing the Shibboleth game with each other? And does anybody need to literally die by the sword, or can we kill each other with cringe instead?
Okay, so the Shibboleth story, the way you say it in modern Hebrew is Shibolet, right?
Okay.
So the Benjaminites, the tribe of Benjamin, was known for not being able to pronounce Shibboleth the way everyone else did it, right? So the story is that there was a war against the tribe of Benjamin, and so they would ask men to say the word Shibboleth, and if they couldn't say it, they were put to death. I think it's very important to realize that the Bible is in no way is in no way endorsing this way of acting. And
oh no, it's not an endorsement.
No, and so God is not going to give you a Shibboleth test, because unlike Calvinists, I can tell you that I truly believe what it says in Psalm 145, right? Rahamav al kol ma'asav. God's mercy is on all of the things that he has created, all of his creatures.
Okay.
Right? So God has mercy on stones. God has mercy on animals. God has mercy on human beings, and God has mercy on you.
Okay, hold on. Let me think about this. Let me also raise the question: does God have mercy on Ha-Satan?
Yes.
Even Ha-Satan.
Yes, even Ha-Satan. God
even Ha-Satan. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, because Utlam just pointed out, if God ate Jesus, Trinitarians are in deep trouble. See, this is exactly why I claim eternal conscious torment hell for myself. You know, everybody else out of eternal conscious torment hell, please. I can be there. I can be there autismoing by myself forever and ever and ever. Amen. All right, everybody else out of everybody. Hell, eternal conscious hell is now totally canceled for everybody else. Please.
But,
and then if you want to try to save me out of that hell, go away.
In about half an hour, I am going to close down this stream because we are going up to the 4th hour. Unless Yoav wants to continue it. So Yoav will continue after. Okay, so
brave mad lad, eh?
There we go. Yoav can continue the stream. Thank you, Yoav.
Hold on. Utlam is showing receipts of her knowledge of Jewish folklore, right? Jews are supposed to believe that Satan is God's prosecuting counsel and agent provocateur, as in the controlled opposition.
That is true.
Right? That is true. So is Satan corrupt?
So Actually, there is a there. Ben and Chazi are going to be streaming in half an hour. So
Okay.
even with Yoav, even with Yoav's very generous offer, we generally try to avoid having multiple streams.
Right.
Although Yoav, you might want to join Ben and Chazi's stream, as might everyone else.
I
Yeah.
always join it, but just in the chat.
Aha.
I have nothing to add to their wisdom.
Chazi is a pretty good rabbi, and he knows his prayers.
Yeah,
And
I'm not so good as Chazi.
And I believe actually that aren't you guys going to be doing Sim Shalom, the 19th blessing? I think they're going to be on the 19th blessing of the Amidah, the final one.
Just before we finished, I'm sure that we didn't let Claire actually say what she wanted to say about Calvinism.
You are correct. Let me just say that, like, the prayer stream has a lot to do with all of the stuff we're talking about. But Claire, yes, sorry about that.
Yeah. So about Calvinism, I think the reason why Calvin chose such a gloomy view of predestination is because basically the Catholic Church has, cornered the market on priestly absolution. So the idea is that, you think you're going to die, you get the priest in to, do the last rites, and you say you believe in Jesus and you express remorse for your sins, and then you think you're going to go to heaven. And if you do all this right, then people think, oh yeah, but he got away with it, that murderer, that gangster, because he got the priest in and he said sorry, and he still believes in Jesus and he'll get to heaven. So obviously Calvin, in his Republic of Switzerland, he couldn't do that because he's not the Catholic Church, and and if you're Catholic, you can think that, but not if you're this other thing that isn't quite an established church, because Lutheranism later became the established church of Germany. But if you don't have the power of the monarch behind you, you're really rather plain, and it doesn't look good. They don't have nice churches, pretty stone buildings and everything. So he had to say that this predestination thing is the most logical thing, to not have to compete with the Protestants and the Catholics about
I'm not
absolution and free will.
I'm not
This
too
is
familiar.
exactly why Calvin is cringe. See, we solved Calvinism. Calvinism is just a psychotechnology so that Janine.
Sorry?
Cool Kid, you wanted to say something.
I was just going to say
It went quiet.
I'm not too familiar with my church history, so Jacob can correct me because I think he's more knowledgeable about church history than I am. But I thought Calvinism came out of the Augustinian tradition, whereas the Catholics went to the Thomist tradition of free will. And Jacob, you're muted.
So Calvinism definitely is based on the teachings of Augustine, but there's a reason why they call themselves Calvinists and not Augustinians, because as I understand it, and frankly, I'm looking up the Potter's Freedom as we speak because I'm guessing I actually do have to read it now. It's 350 pages. But Calvin, even all of the disputes within Calvinism, it's a big question. But when you're really looking at it, the question becomes, is Calvin reading Paul of Tarsus correctly or not? And that is the ultimate question people have to ask. And while Father Stephen would say no, they are not. And he knows much more Greek than I do. And he also knows Hebrew. And he is, you know, I want him to be right about what's called Paul within Judaism. From what I can see of the discussion that that Christians have, I actually think they're reading Paul correctly. Now that puts Paul at odds with the rest of Scripture, which I can see why Father Stephen would harmonize Paul of Tarsus with the rest of Scripture. I just don't have any reason to harmonize as opposed to simply say that he was teaching something that is anti-scriptural.
Well, I think for Father Stephen, I could be wrong, but my understanding is that the Orthodox position is just like the Catholic position, which is that Paul is the first father, just like for Catholics, he's the first pope.
Okay.
So
What does that have to do?
and don't they believe that the fathers are infallible?
First of all, he's an apostle. That's different from being one of the church fathers. Second, nobody believes that the church fathers are infallible. Almost all Christians believe some version of the scriptures being infallible, and Paul wrote most of the Christian scriptures. Any more questions?
No, I mean that makes sense. I just thought. I mean, I could be wrong because I'm not that familiar with Orthodox theology, but I know for Catholics they think Paul was like the first pope, and they believe in papal infallibility. So I just didn't know if there was the same dynamic going on with Orthodox Christianity.
Say that again.
So Catholics believe in papal infallibility, right?
Yes.
So they believe Paul was the first pope.
No, they don't believe Paul was the first pope, and that's not really relevant because what we know of the teachings of Paul are in Scripture. So, like scriptural infallibility is kind of a thing that Christians really do believe in.
Okay. Oh, okay, I understand. So the reason that Father Eric or Father Stephen, sorry, is trying to reconcile Paul with the rest of the scripture is just because of the fact that it's not because of the papal infallibility or him being a church father. It has to do with
Yeah,
him
he's
writing
Eastern
scripture.
Orthodox. He doesn't believe in papal infallibility anyway. But like Paul is part of the Christian scriptures. In fact, he's most of the Christian scriptures.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. I think this might be a good place for me to bow out of the conversation. And since there is a stream coming up in 20 minutes, maybe we can have some final words and end it there. Kirk, why don't you start with our final words? Any last things to say?
It's always good to learn the Bible in its original languages.
This is true. And if you're trying to learn biblical Hebrew, Claire and I started. Oh, Claire, we're gonna have to reschedule. I just got a job and I won't be able to do the same schedule we were doing before. We'll have to talk about it. But
Congratulations on your
why,
job.
thank you.
Okay.
Why, thank you. But we did our first thing yesterday, and Claire and I. So I picked one of the more popular Aleph Bet songs, and Claire and I are going to both learn it. I already know it. Aleph Bet Bet, Aleph Bet Bet, Gimel Dalet Hey, Gimel Dalet Hey, Vav Zayin Chet Tet, Vav Zayin Chet Tet, Yud, Tet, Yud Lamed.
We'll be singing it together, won't
Yeah,
we?
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But so if you want to learn Hebrew, It's actually one of the easiest languages to learn, people. Mary, last words. Mary might not be with us anymore.
No. I'm here. I got muted earlier because I went off a little bit too much. So yeah, I thought the places I was in was the safe spaces that invited me there.
Mhm.
So I get a little bit feral when I feel like my safe space is being threatened. So like, doom scroll responsibly, please. Okay, you guys know what my issues are. You know what triggers me. Please stop triggering me recklessly, because
well, I think people are not trying to. Very few people are deliberately trying to.
no, they are not.
trigger you.
No, they are no longer deliberately trying to trigger me, but some people do inadvertently trigger me.
Well,
Because,
that's part of life. So
Yes.
one of my rules is do not take offense when no offense is intended, and
Okay,
do
so
take
how
offense
much
when offense is intended.
how much offense is intended when people doom scroll in the doom scroll saying, "Look at how much the world is doomed"?
I would say that's not meant to offend you.
That's no, that's not even I will not take that personally. Okay,
Good.
what is the intention of sharing the doom scroll in my safe spaces, showing how doomed the world is?
Sorry to interrupt, but we are just being joined by Mikhail Sartori.
Oh yes, hello.
And Mikhail Sartori has written a 500 book.
500 page.
500 page
closer
book.
to 800 pages. I have it around here somewhere.
Okay, so
yes.
So you need to match that. I want a 900 page book from you.
What?
Might be easier than you think. Yeah.
I mean, I've been jamming with DeepSeek for a couple of days now, but nobody wants to read that. So
yeah, we AI slop only if you actually edit the AI slop. You should let me put it this way. Write something that you can read it twice without cringing.
Oh no.
And I promise I will read it if you can tell me whatever it is that you wrote, you write something. Your Christian witness would actually be a beautiful thing to do, and just be able to read it twice without cringing.
I mean, I might be able to find that little Christian witness thing that I did once upon a time that I probably can do without cringing very much, but I'd have to look for it. I'd have to look for it.
Okay, that sounds great. Sandy, final words.
Muted.
She is muted.
Sorry, I was looking for a link to add to my in chat final words. Basically, I'm going to go and do some poetry, listen to the prayer stream, and I'm pointing out that Aleph with Beth, Hebrew, which gets recommends by Jacob, has added written transcripts to that and to the Aleph with Angela Greek lessons that are also connected there.
Yeah, so the couple who Beth and Andrew who run Aleph with Beth and I guess Aleph with Angela, they do amazing work. I highly recommend their work. I don't even try to replicate it. They are absolutely amazing people, and God bless them. Yoav, final words.
First, I would like to offer my help. I mean, after your lessons, I could stay on and for some exercises. And concerning your first lesson, did you explain to them yet why there are two sets of vowels?
What do you mean? Why
there is kamatz and patach, and why they come in pairs? Tzera and segol. Why do we need two of each?
I mean, I they are supposed to be longer and shorter, and in some so if you listen to me closely when I'm doing Hebrew, right, you will notice that I will say kamatz and patach differently. So I will say shalach lanu, not shlach lanu, right? And many of the liturgical forms actually do maintain a difference between patach and kamatz katan. I mean kamatz gadol, and tsere and segol. It's only modern Hebrew that's kind of gotten rid of the differences.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when I'm doing my exercises, there's a point I want to elaborate on that, but that's for another broadcast.
Okay, sounds good.
And
did I miss something? I mean,
you just started. There's an addition, or there's always an addition.
Okay.
It's about Peleg Selek. Pei Lamed Gimel Samach Lamed Kuf. Look it up.
Okay.
Peleg Selek. Okay. About triggering people. I'm trying to behave my best when Jacob is around, but remember that I am Middle Eastern. And once I feel friendly enough, then expect to be triggered.
Okay. My final words. This is a very unique space. If you enjoy what I do in this space, I would highly recommend you look into Fountain of Comfort. Sandy and Yoav are the two. Did anybody else get certified as a peer counselor? No, they're the two certified peer counselors that through Fountain of Comfort, who have been very useful to me in my work here, and I just want to give them that recognition. And if you're interested, there's lots of talk in my my YouTube channel for Fountain of Comfort about peer counseling and being peer counselors. And if you're interested in becoming one yourself, do let me know. And we have talked about possibly having just a support group that wouldn't be online; it would actually be private. If people are interested in that, that's also a possibility. Okay, that is it for me. Let's say goodbye. I'm going to use host's prerogative to put the Reverend Parcells to bed because he does need to get up in the morning.
Sorry, Reverend. Thank you.
But before he goes, I have a question. Let's say, God forbid, that I were to burn somebody at the stake for not being a Trinitarian. And I did not repent of that. Is that a salvation issue?
Sometimes Jacob takes that devil's advocate thing too
Isn't there
far.
a proverb that says something like "Don't answer a fool according to his folly"?
But there's a proverb that says "Answer a fool according to his folly."
There is. Exactly right. And I'm going to leave it to you guys to determine, which of those was applicable in this situation as I go. So, but anyhow, good.
Thank you, Reverend.
Good to
Thank
chat
you.
with you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
The